What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush. And of course, we're here every Monday, 52 weeks a year, talking Giants football. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm sure you guys are familiar with me by now. I'm Craig. I am your host. Well, but I don't do it alone, of course, because I can't. I'm going to bring in Spartan and Nikki. Got a great show for you. Now, I will say Mike and McFadden is not on Tom Coughlin time because he is not here yet. So we expect him to probably be popping in here soon. Let's bring in the rest of the crew because someone I know, part of the Rush family, was hanging out with Eli Manning this past week. Let's bring in Spartan. What's up, Spartan?
Craig, what's going on? I'm on cloud 9 still, brother.
So let's bring in Nikki too. Let's get her in here. Nick.
Hi, guys. Hi.
What up, Nikki?
So we, of course, you know, we're cranking up another episode of Giants Rush. We're waiting on Giants inside linebacker Mike and McFadden. So while we got a couple minutes time to kill, Spartan, you know, you're in Chicago, you're doing your thing, and then next thing you know, there's a 6'4", 6'5" guy that looks like Eli Manning having dinner next to you. How's that go down?
So here's the full story because we weren't sitting down at the restaurant. What happened is I am actually in the building next door to where this steakhouse is. I walk in to the lobby, and my coworker is there. He knows I'm a big Giants fan, and he said, "Hey, Mike, I don't know if you realized Eli Manning just walked around the corner. He's a bit of a jokester, so of course I'm like, all right, quit screwing with me here, Patrick." And then he's like, "Go ahead and see, just check it out." Sure enough, I walk around. I'm in the lobby of the building, looking out a glass window, and in the waiting area right next door that you can walk out to because the steakhouse is right next to it, is a tall, thin guy, and sure enough, it's Eli Manning. And my heart sank at that point because I'm like, oh my God, if I can meet any quarterback in the world, it's Eli. He's standing out there alone. We're in Chicago at a steakhouse right next to where I am. Like, what in the world, right? So I go out there. I'm trying to play it off like I'm cool, like, unassuming, and I'm doing a piss poor job. So I said, the hell with it. I'm just gonna go in. I said, "Excuse me, sir, are you Eli Manning?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm Eli." And then just went into the whole thing of, look, I grew up a huge Giants fan up in the Northeast. Went to so many games, went to the Super Bowl. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the incredible memories and everything like that. And I'm shaking because I don't know if anyone's been in that situation with before, where it's that random and it's like, oh my God, I'm just so starstruck, as Nikki was commenting earlier in the show. Got a picture with Eli. He was kind enough to do that. Shook his hand and then went on from there. I didn't want to waste too much of his time there, but it was just truly an unbelievable moment. And like, the rest of the week, really, it just plowed through because it felt like Friday the entire time.
That's awesome. Yeah, and sometimes, like 2 weeks ago when I met Logan Ryan, not the same caliber, right, as Eli Manning, but they're human, right? They're human beings, right? And if they play in the New York market, they're kind of used to running into fans everywhere they go, right? Like whether they're on the street, whether they're at a restaurant, whether they're food shopping with their kids or whatever it is, like they're human and they're used to interacting with people. So it's not like they're in, I don't know, Denver, right? Or maybe it's, maybe Minnesota, where they're just not used to interacting with hundreds and thousands of people every day.
I've never met. I've never heard of really any New York sports personality that was bad to fans, or anything like that, or act like they're too good for anybody. I don't really remember any of them being like that. Constant autograph denying. I mean, I told you the story though. My buddy saw Ezekiel Elliott behind the bar in Dallas, and his bodyguard kind of stiff-armed him out of the way. And he's a lifelong diehard fan, right? So it's kind of like I don't know. Never hear those stories with New York sports guys.
So can I tell you guys a funny story? So
yes.
First of all, I'm jealous because as I was saying before we popped on, when I met Eli, I was there as press, so I had to hold it together and I couldn't get a picture. But last week, I'm covering mini camp, right? And we're outside and we're watching practice, and it was like just felt really long. So I brought my bag with me. I had like granola bar and water in there, and I go over to the table where I put my stuff, and I sit down and I'm just having my water and my granola bar, just talking to this guy. It's Brandon Jacobs, and I was like.
How did you not know? He's huge.
I did, because his head was down, and I guess he was on. I didn't realize it. And then we're standing at the podium, right? And I forget who was talking. And this guy comes up to, so it's Madeline Burke and then like me right there, right? And this guy's like, "Oh, Madeline, hey, how's it going?" And I turn around, and Michael Strahan is like right here on my shoulder.
Wow.
And I was just like, "Oh, hold it together."
Nikki, when was this past week?
This Tuesday was last week. Camp. So it's just like, "Oh, hold together. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you."
Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea. You didn't say anything about that. That's incredible.
Yeah. So it was a star-studded day that day.
Yeah, no doubt. I think like Strahan's a guy, and I've talked shop. I always tell the story how I went to a luncheon, and when everyone left, I sat with Otis Anderson, and we talked football for like an hour, and he had me rolling because they had just drafted Ron Dane, and man, he had a whole, whole disarray of things to say, and I was just like, this is the greatest day ever. I'm like doing like, shop talk with Otis Anderson. It was just cool. So I'm sure like guys like Strahan, Eli, you want to actually like talk some shop with them or get one like nugget of information.
Yeah. I did get some information, but I can't say it, but I did get some.
But wait, that's just a tease. That doesn't mean you can't do that.
I know.
Only subscribers with paid subscriptions.
If you get a paid subscription to Rush, I'll tell you what I know.
Yeah, everybody Venmo me right now $10 and you can stay online.
Man, this is good stuff. We need like $100 a head, maybe 200. No, subscribe and we'll give you the exclusive inside. But it is cool and it is nice. Have you guys run into any other celebrities? I've met some who are just like.
You talking about Giants or celebrities?
Just in general, like if you're out and about, like.
Sure. I ran into Sean Penn on the train in New York. I drank beer.
You look like Sean Penn, Craig.
A little bit.
It's true. I always get that.
What if he looked at you and he's like, "Can you be a body double for me?"
He's like, "Hey, is that myself?"
No, if I told you the story, it's a very uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable story.
Oh,
but
okay.
I drank beer with Mo Cheeks
right.
When he was the coach of the Sonics out there on the West Coast. I don't know who else. Listen, I've told this story before. I don't want to bore everyone with this story, but the greatest story of my life is so everybody knows I have the Red Bulls chef is my chef for my tailgate. We've been friends since we were a kid. We went to Eagles Giants when the Lincoln Financial Field just opened up, and they put all the families in the family section. So when the game ended, we all kind of lingered to let everybody go out. Right. And Anthony and me started to walk around a little bit on the upper tier to just look around, but the gates were up, so we couldn't continue to walk. Right. So we were looking for a way out, and it was basically like an hour after the game had ended. Right. Because we kind of were just milling around for a while. They shut the lights off. Doom, doom, doom. Right. So now you're in Lincoln Financial Field and it's pitch dark, and we're like, dude, let's hit the exit side and go down.
With the Manning parents just trying to figure out how to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, no, just me and Anthony so far, right? Everyone else is gone.
Yeah.
We get down a couple levels, and we go, and I hear the Southern accent. I can't do it, of course, but hey, boys, you know how to get out of here? And we're like, no, we're trying to find out too. Turns out it's Archie Manning and his wife, right? So now literally lost in the bowels of Lincoln Financial Stadium with Archie Manning and I forget Eli's mom. It's
Olivia.
Olivia, that's it. Right. So we're walking down with them and it dumps us off into a back parking lot. Right. So he's like, oh, I got to find where Eli is. He's like, we got to walk to the front. So we walk the entire way around the entire stadium with them. And we're doing this. I'm with Olivia and he's with Archie and my friend. And we drop back and we're jockeying. We're talking to each one of them. And I'm like, all right, Archie, if the Giants are playing the Colts, who is Mrs. Manning rooting for? She goes, I heard that. I'm rooting for both of them to win. I'm rooting for a tie. She's like, I'm rooting for nobody to get hurt and root for a tie.
Yeah,
It was awesome. We talked shop and he's like, you guys are awful nice for Jersey guys. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of nice Jersey people. He's like, I've seen some rough ones too. And I'm like, you mean Philadelphia fans, right? He's like, oh, they're even worse. We laughed. We get right up to the stadium, knocks on the door, opens up, big bouncer's there. He goes, oh, Mr. Manning, come on in. He lets Olivia in and Archie in, and he shuts the door in my face, right? And I'm standing there, and me and Anthony, and my buddy Anthony's like a 270-pound guy, right? We're both sitting there like, oh, man. All of a sudden, the door opens up, and he goes, excuse me, sir, they're with me, right? So, and nice. we're like, yes, we are with Mr. Manning. We walked right in there into the players' lounge. We met O'Hara. It was his first year. So cool. It was so cool. It was like
look at the chat though. All the celebrities that our audience have met, like Henry, like, wow, I understand he works security, but he's met a ton of people. Mark B's like hanging out poolside with LT in the Bahamas. Like, you guys are bringing it.
Yeah. Well, again, like, some of these guys are very approachable and they turn out to be in the same place you are, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I usually run into like Real Housewives, which is fine, but.
Well, you got, by the way, how's that Real Housewives of the Meadowlands group chat going?
It's great. We are there for each other on really tough days. They were there for me this past week when I just kind of got battered on social media. People think I lie and I don't really cover the Giants and I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. So they were there to like lift me up when I needed it. So it's a good support system. Nice. And Kelly's in the chat. Kelly's part of it. So
Kelly? Where's Kelly? She's in here. We'll throw her up here. She's got a question. What is she talking about?
No, she just said hi.
Oh, hi, Kelly. Oh, I see her.
She's there.
I see Kelly. And you're right. Henry's just dropping like names like
J-Lo and P. Diddy.
Yeah. Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, Madonna. Hey, I do want to remind everybody, if you haven't had a chance, it is really super cool. Check out the Chuck Sports app. All our content is in there. It's an aggregator, keeps all the sports content for all the teams, but you can handpick the teams you want. Why I love it the best is they have a daily sports trivia game called Chuckle, okay? And every day I play, and it gives you 6 chances to win. And I am like feast or famine. Either I nail it right out the gate or I suck, and I go all the way to number 6. In fact, there is a video on the Chuck Sports app, Instagram page and Twitter account with me playing it for the very first time, and it was dismal. The answer was Dak Prescott, and it took me all 6 chances to get it. But I'm just throwing it out there that you guys, I know some of you guys take, you're on a lot of planes, you take trains in New York. It's just a cool daily sports trivia. If you start playing it, you'll get addicted to it. So check out the Chuck Sports app, play Chuckle, and me and Danny B are constantly going at it every day. So I am on Instagram right now. I'm in Micah McFadden's Instagram. I don't see anything from him there. I'm looking at email. I don't
Thanks,
know.
Foots Z. Sorry.
What do you say?
Oh, he's just saying that he loves me. So I'm saying thank you. He's saying I'm beautiful and he loves me. Independent. What did he say? His wife played with Mariah Carey. You guys are really bringing it on the celebrity run-ins tonight. This is so cool.
Some of these aren't expected. I mean, the security guard will do it, right? I mean, you see all those famous people that way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let me check my. I'm checking my email. To get
through the week. Haters gonna hate and skaters gonna skate.
So I don't see him in the email. I don't see him there. Well, that's a bummer. That is a
a
bummer.
bummer.
Well, maybe he'll still pop in, but he's definitely not on Tom Coughlin time. We can definitely say that, right?
He is nuts. Hey, Spartan, did you see today? The Cowboys fan just kind of randomly like jumped in this Giants thread, and they're like touting the fact that they have the most TV ratings. Like that's how desperate they've become. Like now and so I replied like, too bad that Super Bowl like they don't give you Super Bowl rings or TV ratings. Like it's how delusional they are.
What a flex! What a flex attempt! Like yeah, all your bandwagon
ratings
from the '70s watch TV more than single market teams. Okay, sick. We won 2 Super Bowls in this century. They're almost at the 30-year mark, which is as long as the Giants had ever gone without a championship, right? So if that's what helps Cowboy fans cope, by all means, enjoy your ratings. I like Super Bowl rings.
They said they own the NFL.
What?
Yes, Cowboys fans. This particular fan.
Cowboys fans are just like, and the thing is like, I dislike the Eagles more than I dislike the Cowboy fans, but the Cowboy fans are so much more delusional than any other franchise in the NFL.
Agreed.
That's why on Rush Hour, when we rank the fan bases, I got to find that clip. I was just like, no, delusional. Like we didn't even need to discuss it. We just put them right in the delusional bucket.
What is the greatest Cowboy memory this century? What is it? I can't.
I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. It's the catch that Michael Irvin didn't make. You know, the big controversy, like, did he catch it? Didn't he catch it? It was that big game. I guess it was his last year or his second to last year. Not Michael Irvin. Their other big receiver. Oh my goodness. Somebody in the chat, jump in here and tell me, because I'm just drawing a huge.
Mark will know.
Yeah.
Mark, you will know.
A big receiver for Tony Romo the whole time. Why am I drawing a blank?
I think his botched snap was one of the greatest.
Des Bryant, thank you, Independent. Des Bryant. That was like their big moment. Like he caught it. Did he catch it? Like that's what.
Oh right, yes, I remember.
Des Bryant,
yes,
almost catch.
Right, and it wasn't a catch, right?
No. Well, I thought it really was a catch.
I thought it was a catch too, but they ruled it not a catch, right? Maybe we could figure that out this year. What exactly is a catch?
Yeah, well, that's an ongoing thing every year. Well, look, since we're here talking Giants and we don't have Mike and McFadden because I don't know where he is, let's talk about like what has happened, this last 2 weeks, in Giant land. We discovered why Waller, right, wears number 12, which is, I mean, it is as cool as you can get, right? I mean, it's a guy willing to admit he's made mistakes, had problems, and he's repping second chances, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So anybody doesn't know the story, wears number 12 because he's recovery. So 12 has a symbolic meaning to him, which is super cool. There's been a little bit of talk about basically, as we did last week, the saga with Barkley goes on and on. Evidently the Giants have put their offer back on the table.
Like the original one, right?
The original one. Yeah. So, and we don't really know.
Is that from when is that from?
That would be from, the original contract.
No. I mean, you saying it went back on the table. When was that reported? Today you're talking about?
No, today's Monday. So that was probably Thursday.
Okay. So they walked that back. You guys know that, right?
As of this weekend?
Ian Rappaport had to walk it back. So I wasn't sure if you were referring to anything after that or that's what you were referring to.
So they're not reoffering that old deal.
All that they said was that both sides have reopened the lines of communication, and then he walked back the fact that there was no offer on the table.
Man, it's over. He's getting traded.
Damn, what makes you say that?
I'm just kidding.
All right, I was gonna say
no. He's gone next year if they can't smooth this out because.
Oh, but I thought they could franchise him again. No. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but what are you doing franchising the guy two specific years?
I mean, at that point, look, I mean, because that almost takes him to the end of the career here. Let's be real. I mean, Saquon is time flies the older we get, right? But in running back years, I mean, it is crazy to think like he's going into. I mean, he started in 18, right? 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 3. This is going to be his 6th season.
Yeah, but again, I hate putting people in boxes all the time. He's been in the league 5 years. He's rushed for 1,000 yards 3 of the 5 years, right? He's two full years removed from the knee surgery, right? I mean, yes, the statistics in history prove out that running backs don't really fulfill their obligation, I guess you would say, in their second contract. But there are a handful of them like McCaffrey and Woody Call from the Titans, that are still performing at a pretty high level. I mean, what people fail to remember about Saquon Barkley is that he's the 10th highest paid back in the league, and he's clearly a top 4 back, maybe top 3.
So they did say that both sides are not panicking because John Mara does want him here long term. So I guess, I don't know. We'll see. They still have time. But what do you guys think? Like, since we're talking about running backs, we touched on this last week on Rush Hour. The same thing's going on with Josh Jacobs over there in Vegas. You have Cook out there. Is it kind of like whoever blinks first kind of sets the tone here?
Where's my notes? I talked about this last week on the show. Like,
I know you.
A lot of these guys don't have the value.
Is that a Barbie? Is that a Barbie notebook right there?
Oh, you got a Barbie notebook? How come you don't have a Rush notebook?
I ran out of stickers.
I'm waiting for the Rush table, by the way. I want that for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
can you work on that?
That table was out of control. Didn't you see what I said? I said, I'm all about auctioning off my table. Let's start at DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
There we go.
So like Kamara, right? Who's the second highest paid on an average. Kamara is the second highest paid back in the NFL. The guy has never rushed for 1,000 yards. He's never at 1,000 yards receiving. Like, stop it already. I mean, you know what I mean? And then to your point, Cook is at 12.6. He makes $2.5 million more than Barkley, and Cook is not better than Barkley. Listen, we understand that Christian McCaffrey is a special guy. Right. We know that Mixon and Chubb and Jacobs are special backs. They're in crap. Most of them are in crappy markets. You know what I mean? That they don't get a lot of press when you play for Minnesota or Cleveland, right? San Diego, well, whatever, Vegas. Some of these guys don't get, the notoriety. I think Barkley should be able to be paid like a top 5 back. He's literally right now number 10.
What amount would bring him to top 5, Craig?
Okay, without any contracts changing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, which is what we talked about months ago. I mean, literally months ago. It's the Chubb deal.
Oh, right? Yeah, we did talk about this months ago. The Chubb deal.
Yes, the Chubb deal is 12.5 average. Again, Chubb and Henry are both roughly. Henry's at 12.5. Chubb is 12.2. Neither one of them make the playoffs, right? But they're Henry's number 4, Chubb is number 5. So Barkley would need $2.1 million over the tag. So, which would be the total would be a 2-year deal at 24.
It is guaranteed.
Yeah, all guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, I if the Giants moved on from Saquon, they got to think. I mean, what are they going to do to make up a lot of the offensive productivity? Because that's a huge. I mean, people can say what they want about the running back position on average bringing value, but let's be real. Saquon Barkley himself is bringing a lot of value because he's a very good running back. So, I mean, for $12.5 million, I don't really think it's all that bad to get tied up in. To be honest with you, it's not going to be for a long period of time either.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, I don't want to go and beat this topic up again because we beat it up last week, right? But like at the end of the day, last year felt good because of one reason. Because the Giants won. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It was a good, palatable year. I was ready to pack Rush in.
Yeah, I was going to say, Craig, I think you were about ready to shut down Rush.
Yeah.
We're joking, people.
I don't know.
No, we're not joking. No, Craig,
so what, like one more bad season and like that was it. So see, I joined at the right time.
So my point to you is this. All these GMs, these couch GMs, and everybody's barking about who gives a crap? I mean, just like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't draft himself at 2. You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter to me anymore. Like you're going backwards potentially with a harder schedule anyway. Getting an 8-win, 9-win season means no injuries and a lot of things. Independent, settle down there, Independent, with that comment. Settle down,
Pop
Spartan.
that up on the screen. Pop it up there.
I will not.
It up.
I will not.
Come on.
I'm deleting it.
My ego can't get any bigger, so you
Craig,
might as well.
Craig was like, I'm going to shut down Rush, and all of a sudden Nikki comes along, and she saves the day.
Save the day. No,
Nikki is a very valued team member, more than any of you folks can ever imagine. So valued. I gave her own show. I mean, yes. Listen, we have a kick-ass team. Everyone in the team does something really, really well. All right, I'm gonna put a bow on this. My point is, I want Barkley back in the house. The schedule is going to be harder, guys.
Yeah,
schedule is going to be harder, right? So. If you're trying to get 8 to 9 wins this year with a harder schedule, you need Barkley in the house. If you're going to go with Breida and rookie Gray, let's just chalk it up to 6 wins again. Like I mean,
no, come on, Craig. It's not going to be.
Barkley is worth 2 to 3 wins by himself. If you take 1,300 rushing yards and 1,600 all-purpose yards off the table, you're on crack. If you think that Breida and Gray will never amount to 16.
Yeah, the running backs. The running backs wouldn't. What you would have to hope for is that the pass game improves.
Right. Well, I'm assuming the pass game is going to be much more improved.
I do expect it to get better. The expectation here, and as it should be for Jones and the receivers, that it's going to improve.
You are never going to live on pass alone. The running game opens the pass up, and then if you are never winning 9-10 games with Breida and Gray.
I do think the passing game is going to improve drastically this year.
Yeah, and that's really where the bread and butter is going to have to come from anyway. If we want to get to that next level, that's going to ultimately be it. We bring Saquon back, great. Guess what? The pass game still has to improve. We got to get to the point on offense where we're top 16, but if we can really hit the top 12 threshold in terms of scoring, we're looking good. The one thing I loved last year out of the offense was the lack of turnovers. If we can keep that going into this year, that is an extremely valuable asset. And that really helped us a lot get to those, all the wins that we did. I think the one thing, one area on offense that they could just do, and I think we're already capable of doing it, is come out blazing a little bit in the first half, open it up a little bit more. I think they were a little conservative early in the season in the first halves of these games with the offense, and I think they were testing things out, so I understand it. But towards the end of the season, you really saw that, we really have the capability in Minnesota and Indianapolis to drive the ball downfield and really make a lot of plays and score some points in the first half. Giants have it in them, so I think everybody's saying it's a harder schedule next year, but guess what? We are also more talented. We have younger talent that is moving into year 2 with Neal and Phibbs. And I expect this team to compete next year and really be an 11-win team. I'm
with you, Spart. I got them at like 10 wins. I think they're going to compete. This wide receiver room just got really, really fast. It got so much better. And I will tell you, every player last week said the same thing. I feel more comfortable in year 2 under Brian Dable. Almost everybody, coaching regime here, they feel more comfortable. That last year they were trying to feel it out, figure it out. They feel comfortable with what the expectations are. They know what they they need to do. So I think, I think we've improved dramatically, especially in the wide receiver position. What I don't like is all the negative storylines that are coming out about Jalen Hyatt. I don't understand it. They are beating this kid to death.
It's couch potato stuff. They hear that, or the GM, couch GMs, right? They're saying, oh, he's on third string, he's not making it. No, that generally happens. Carl Banks tweeted about this the other day, that you're not going to overtake a veteran in your first week at a mini camp. It's not going to work.
No.
Let me address a couple things into chat too, because they're having some good side conversations here.
Sure.
Jay, aka Crypto, is saying that he is surprised they dumped Julian Love, and then Chris jumps in with they didn't dump Love. He wanted more money. Let's make sure we clarify what happened with Julian Love. He got offered a $6 million deal by Seattle, which, by the way, is not a lot of money when you start stack ranking the top safeties. I mean, $6 million, we were already looking that he was probably in the 8 to 10 range. There are 5 to 7 safeties in the 10 to 18 range. So $6 million was going to be a good deal for Julian Love, who led the team in tackles, I think. The Giants, Julian Love brought the deal back to the Giants and said, here, if you sign this, I'm here. The Giants said no. The Giants walked on Julian Love. So, they wouldn't give him that $6 million. So, yes, he wanted more money than he was making, but I mean, he was taking a pretty cap-friendly deal at $6 million. Henry, I'm going to throw Henry's up here about Bradshaw and Jacobs as young players. Yes, Bradshaw and Jacobs were successful. You have to remember, Bradshaw came in as a rookie getting 5 carries a game, right? And, he was literally the change of pace back from Derek Ward, Brandon Jacobs, and then, Bradshaw was like a 7th round pick out of Marshall. No one had any idea he was going to do anything. And then that Buffalo game in the snow, he broke out, and all of a sudden it was like, holy cow, this kid could play. So yes, but just keep in mind that Jacobs was there for a while, and at 260 pounds, it's, success is on your side when you're that big and that fast. We're talking about.
I partied with Bradshaw in Atlantic City before anyone knew who he was. I got his autograph. It says to Nikki. Like
celebrities earlier. What the hell? You didn't even.
I know. Sorry, I forgot about it. It was a very long time ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Bradshaw was a 7th round draft pick. Jay, out of Marshall, 7th rounder. Okay, so next one was Hyatt.
Right.
The Hyatt thing. I had written an article on nygiantsrush.com called Anonymous because all that coach speak came out. I think it's just, Nikki, I think it's the residual from that leftover that people are still talking about it. I don't even think it's relevant anymore. Like, he had good OTAs. He had good rookie mini camp. He's learning the routes. He's, they listed the fastest guys on the team by 40 time. He ran a 4.4. I think the only 2 guys that were faster than him were Banks and I got to go back and look at. There were like 2 guys that were faster than Hyatt. He ran a 4.4. He's doing great. He's going to make the team. He's going to contribute. And I think it's basically, as you said, I think it's just a bunch of talking heads to fill space right now because it's kind of over. Like it's the whole anonymous thing was 3 weeks ago.
No, there was something the other day how they were like, oh, he had, and I retweeted it because they were like, oh, he has an uphill climb. He's only, with 3rd team out there. And it's like, of course. And I had said, like, what's with the random quotes and who's reporting this uphill climb? Because actually the opposite has been reported. And I have to tell you guys, this kid, like, he's so humble. He doesn't come off. I know they say he's arrogant and all this stuff. And I mean, if you're a wide receiver, you're going to have a little bit of that, but like, he's just got a chip on his shoulder. I'm telling you guys, he's so grateful to be with the Giants organization because he feels they believed in him when so many other teams passed on him. And he just wants to win. Like he wants to compete and he wants to learn and he wants to win.
Two things I noticed, Spartan, about this conversation is one, I think Jay has a point. It's a dead part of the season. There's really not a lot to talk about, right? So, what's up, Tommy?
I think real quick, Craig, I think the thing that bothers me, Jay Hack had a comment here in the chat that I agree with. I mean, we go back to, because I said it myself, Twitter, Twitter GMs and whatnot. I think the infuriating thing here is a lot of this narrative is actually being pushed by real media personnel.
That's where I'm getting upset. It's real
What?
media that's pushing it. It's not random.
But again, like they don't have, like, there's no storyline, there's no drama on this team because it's a very tight knit, well oiled team, right? So the way Dable and Shane and Wink, and Kafka are doing things, there's no storylines. Nobody's getting caught in an airport with guns. Nobody's getting in car accidents. Nobody's getting caught with drugs. Nobody's fighting over hard knocks. Like, the team is just moving forward like a good team does. And
football news in June is boring. Let's just call it how it is. It's brutal. What are we even doing here? This is boring.
Let's turn like we're done. We're out.
Yeah, just turn us off.
Yeah,
Mike and tune into Rush Hour.
Left us hanging high and dry. And
is he on Central Time? Did he go back home or something like that? No, he lives in Florida. Never mind.
No, he's a Tampa guy. Yeah. Look, I'm sure whatever happened, he got hung up. We'll reschedule him in here. We'll get him back. I think, Nikki, if the coach from Dallas or whoever was working with him at the combine, if that didn't go viral, none of this would be discussed. I guarantee this is not even a topic if that coach was not mic'd up, talking smack about what his skill set was. If that never gets on the air, where nobody is talking about this. Nobody. He's just a third-round receiver who, by the way, was drafted, in the third round. Slayton was drafted in the fifth round.
Right.
Like, nobody was talking crap about Slayton for being drafted in the fifth round.
I guess, Hyatt might be one of the bigger names that dropped the third day, and that's the only thing, right? Because there was already the buzz around his dropping, so now it's going to be like, oh, well, what's the what's causing this? Why did 32 teams pass him twice? And I think this dives into that wound, if you will, and so people are just hashing at it because, like we said, there's not enough going on. And real quick, hey, Tommy G's up in here. I just wanted to say, yeah, everybody, Tommy G is a friend of the show. Tune into his show when he does it. Always good to have you up in here, man.
No, Tommy Tommy, you could get out with your terrible steak takes. You guys know
what happened?
Wait, what happened with the steak takes?
Oh, okay. He eats it like shoe leather and then like slathers it in sauce. Like,
I'm just gonna say it. I like it that way too.
What? Come on, medium rare steak, people.
I like a torch steak. I don't.
Please tell me don't put ketchup on it.
Tommy steaks. I'm with you,
bro. It's burnt hamburger at that point.
No, yeah, it's gross. Do you put ketchup on
burgers? Do I put ketchup on it? No, I don't like ketchup on steak.
Good thing, because there was going to be a beatdown if you put ketchup on your steak.
Especially like right now. What?
Nikki, then we can't promote violence on the show now.
Colt says, I always got beef with someone. I do, because I think steak should be medium rare, and if it's really good, you don't need any sauces to go with it.
Nikki has beef with my beef preferences. That's the problem.
I do. That's the problem. That's the problem.
All right. What else, Spartan? What do you got for me? Earlier last week I broke down Okereke. What's your thoughts on Okereke just walking right in and Wink being like, this guy's a badass, and giving him the dot?
I didn't expect anything less. The dude balled out last year in Indianapolis, and I knew he was going to step out here and be a force to be reckoned with in the Giants defense. In fact, probably one of the most, I am looking forward to him as the latest addition to the Giants more than any other player on the team right now.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. Nikki,
I have a little Martinez vibes, don't you?
So I wrote this. If anyone, wants to learn a little bit more about Okereke, I wrote a piece on nygiantsrush.com called "The Rise of the Giants Defense," spotlighted Okereke. To Spartan's point, when Blake Martinez went into the NFL, guess who was the backup? Bobby Okereke. He went to Stanford. And then when Martinez went in the NFL in 2016, the guy who stepped in was Bobby Okereke,
Stanford produces linebackers like.
Yep. And by the way, smart linebackers.
Yes, no doubt. What else did I want to talk about? God damn it.
Nikki, what's your thoughts? I mean, like you were covering a team this week. Did
Yeah.
Okereke get on the mic or no?
He did not. He did not. I pulled up everybody here who did get on the mic. So we've got, oh God, there was a lot. So of course, Brian Dable, Leo was up there, Paris Campbell, Bellinger, assistant general manager Brandon Brown spoke. Dax was up there, Sterling Shepard, Daniel Jones, Mike Kafka. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. A lot of guys were talking the past last week. So, and the team's so excited to have Bobby O there. I'll tell you that much. They really are. Yeah, super excited.
By the way, tons of new people are jumping into the chat room. So I'm just going to give you guys a little roll call here. I mean, Tuto, Mark, Darius, Independent, Joe, Tom, Darius, Joe B, Mark B. What's up, guys? I hope I'm not missing anybody. I'm rolling through.
We appreciate that. Like, these are all the fans. Like, they came on, they expected Mike, and they stuck around anyway. Even
exactly.
I know. They listened to us just talk. Yes, Independent. I was there the day Bill Parcells was there. Yes, I was.
Yep. I see, David from Bronx Muchachos in here. Henry, I see you. Thanks for stopping in, guys. We're a little disappointed right now that Mr. McFadden did not show up. Maybe he got held up at practice. We don't know. I've been pinging him. I'm not getting anything back, so maybe he's tied up there. We'll have to get him back on here. I see you, Danny B. Don't want to miss anybody. Jay, Crypto, whoever you are today. Again, if I missed anybody, I'm trying to scan through so I don't miss anybody. It's good that you guys all are hanging out with. Really, really sorry. Definitely, can't control it. I can't reach them. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let's do this. It basically now becomes your show, guys. What do you want to talk about? Throw it in the chat. We'll
Craig, you know what you should do? Your speed round questions, you should give them to me and Spartan.
There we go. You got speed. Right. And real quick, I got to do my little promo. We're coming up. We are talking about San Francisco, all right? Because that is first on Travel with Spartan segment. I mean, it's a Thursday night game. I have to lay it out in a certain format because, it'd be Craig. I mean, like you've done with Seattle and many other places. When you do these travel away games, I want to set it up so that you guys have a blast, all right? I've been to San Francisco several times. Been to the Bay Area. I can make some recommendations so you guys can enjoy it. Whoever's going out there. Crypto, I think you live out there in California, so, keep me honest. I know you have no problem doing that.
Spartan, are you going to the Miami game? I'm going.
What weekend is that?
October 8th.
No, I'm going to be in Croatia for my honeymoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's more important.
By the way, Spartan Mike is getting married. He did not invite anyone from the team because he wants nothing.
He
wants nothing to do with us.
I did want to. We just, I thought some people would say no, and they didn't.
How many people? How big is the wedding?
212.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Actually, nowadays, I think that might be somewhat towards the middle now. I've seen some some big weddings the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah. I've been to some huge ones.
If it wasn't for the Irish Catholic thing, family, you guys would all be there.
And by the way, I want to put this up here because it's always nice to get these things. The Rush Crew is amazing. Thank you, Darius.
Yes, thank you, Darius.
No, we really do appreciate that. Some of you guys, you come down hard on, not you guys in the chat, but stupid stuff out there, like, who's stealing whose tweets, who's mad at who doesn't know anything about football. Like, you guys are you guys are you guys are the real deal. And by the way, Tommy's got a great question here. I did want to make sure, because I know Tommy, friend of the show, gave us a real great shout out this week. He was being interviewed, and he gave us a nice plug. In fact, he said, unfortunately, because I just had started with Rush when Patty came and sucked him up to work with her, because Tommy was part of the family and always will be. Tommy's question, I'll throw it up on here, or did I just lose it? Where'd it go?
The chat is coming in fast.
Yeah, it is. You guys are fires of it. Okay. So what do I think about McFadden? So, one, and Spartan, as a Big Ten guy too, will attest to, I mean, he was a flat out stud at Indiana. I mean, again, I don't want to jump the shark on it, but I'll give you really quick. I mean, he was all state, high school, of course, 2017 FACA High School Player of the Year. The guy was, he played fullback and linebacker in high school. He had 7 college offers: Indiana, UMass, Boston College, South Dakota, Southern Miss, which is a little odd, Southern Miss, Toledo. And as Spartan will tell you, and Mike jump in, he battled his way from not getting a lot of offers to being a absolute, like a Butkus.
It's always remarkable. Like, I mean, every time we've had somebody on, kind of similar when we had Kurt Warner on, and what I wanted to ask is, like, what'd you have to do to improve your game when you were undrafted and then eventually, Super Bowl quarterback? Like, what was the difference there? What I so badly wanted to talk to Mike about tonight is, what was that journey like for him? He comes out of high school, he's lowly recruited, and then 4 years later, he's getting drafted by the Giants. He has a stellar career at Indiana, and by the way, the most impressive thing about Indiana is they traditionally are very, very terrible in the Big Ten. All right. And then in the year 2020, unfortunately, it was COVID year, they had a phenomenal season, beating Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, all these top dog programs for the first time in some cases, decades. They hadn't beaten Michigan since the 80s, right? And I wanted to talk to him about that because it must have been an unbelievable experience being a part of that, elevating a program that is otherwise dead to being elite, and they held it together with Ohio State too. They could have won the Big Ten. Just, it's very hard to go undefeated, but it was still an incredible story.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him because I feel like when you look back at some of his interviews and stuff, like a common theme with him was like, I was a late bloomer, right? I didn't get to play varsity until my junior year because lack of field time. And I felt like I wasn't noticed and I only got 6 offers and I felt like I was overlooked. Like, so I wanted to ask him, like, do you kind of still feel like that? Like, talk about how that feels to be a majority of your career you feel overlooked. Like, do you just kind of get this chip on your shoulder, and how do you let that fuel you? So hopefully when he reschedules, we can ask him these questions.
Yeah, right. And Wink had said he looked, about 2 weeks ago he came out and was kind of gushing over him, saying, he looks really good, and it realistically is going to be, a battle between him and Davis, that they signed late in the season last year. So, Mike is not an overly tall linebacker, right? Now he's got some good size to him, 240, 242, right? But he's only 6'1", right? But he's a fantastic A-gap blitzer, okay? For any reason doesn't know what the A-gap is, it's left to right of the center, right? So he's very good at dipping and changing his weight, shifting his weight to be able to have a guard dip in with him and then blow the gap. He's very good blitzer. He's a tackling machine. Okay. I mean, the guy led Indiana 3 years in a row for tackles for loss. He was a 2-time captain, as a junior. Like, so Tommy, to your question is, I thought he was more of a 4th round guy. He goes in the 5th round. He's going to have to, outperform, what some people think, he can do. He's 2-down linebacker, right? He's a 2-down linebacker. He's going to learn a lot from Okereke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's going to learn a lot from Okereke. And what seems, as a rookie, the cutback lane, he would get washed out in some of those plays because I think he's used to being so aggressive, right? Because he's a physical type player, Tommy. So I think I don't think Wink would have came out and said he's impressed with what he's doing if he wasn't really impressed with what he's doing.
Yeah, he said he was really impressed and he's improving. So all good things. Mark B is asking, how did my dance go this weekend? If you guys didn't know, I danced in an alumni show on Saturday, 2 shows, 25 years as a studio I danced at, I taught at, and now my niece is dancing there and competing there. And so my sister and I were part of it, and, a lot of my old friends. So it was really great. And I just remembered how much I love to be on stage. So now I have the itch to teach again. I just don't have any time, which is unfortunate, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, what happens when you got credentials for the stadium? You got things to do. People that have
a business to run.
But Yeah. So what else? I'm just answering questions here. So Beavers is, Henry, I don't think Beavers is an inside linebacker. I think he's more off ball. I think he's more outside. I could see him being used on the outside. He is a physical guy. Wink said he loves his physicality, right? But I think Beavers can run more. I think he can be more of an in space type of player. But who knows? We hope not everybody heals.
We got to see how he recovers from his injury, right? I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, I was very excited to see him as a player. Truth was a huge fan of him when we did the draft show last year. Yeah, and it's unfortunate we weren't able to get to see what he could do.
And remember, guys, like he seems like a class act. I know he posts a lot of pictures of his little man. He's got a son. He's a family guy. Seems like a very private guy. Beavers. But he's still, again, not only is it an uphill battle because of a knee injury, it's also an uphill battle that he was a 6th round draft pick. You know what I mean? Like, these guys really, if you look at statistics, like how much it goes down in percentage every round that goes by.
Yeah, hardly anybody gets out of the 6th round and becomes,
not at a skill position, right?
No.
So, but hey, look, we
see Henry saying, "I bring the flavor to Rush." Pop that up there. Thank you, Henry. You are. I'm like a nice flavored like steak, right? You don't need any extra sauce.
Nikki is universal, bringing the flavor to Rush.
See that?
Yep. We needed some flavor. We had Nikki. Now we got Adriana. We got Alex. They all do so. Oh,
everybody's their own unique flavor, right, Craig?
Yes.
Oh, trust me. Yes. That is
I am not ranch. Do not say that I am ranch.
Like when you go to Buffalo Wild Wings and you see all the different flavor options. There's hot, there's spicy, there's mild, there's salt and vinegar. We got it all.
I think I'd be salt and vinegar, probably, right?
Depends on the
day. Probably.
I see Mason's in the room. What's up, Mason? Long time, my friend. Glad you popped in. Just so Mr. McFadden didn't show, so we're kind of opening up the topics to the chat. We're trying to answer anything that goes. Independent asked me how would they use Belton. I think people are just like, I almost feel like people like bad news. Belton made a couple of mistakes early on as a rookie, and because he got benched, everybody jumped on him. I love the dude, not only because we interviewed him, but I remember him at Iowa, and the dude lays the wood. So, so I think Belton competes for, I'm sure he's going to get a chance to compete for a starting job, but he does have an uphill battle because he's got experience there. There's a couple guys they brought in, right? Came in from the Ravens, and I'm drawing a blank on the other guy they brought in. But I can see Belton being if they run 3 high, Belton being the 3rd safety.
Yeah, I can see it. It's pretty impressive, the Iowa defensive talent that comes out of there. Statistically, they're actually the best school at turning the under the radar football players into NFL players. They do the best. I think Belton, just like he did at Iowa, needs a little bit of time. And this is going to be the year that he balls out.
Yeah, and for the record, in case you didn't know, Belton and McFadden are like best friends. They played high school football 5 miles away from each other. So I know he's like a black belt in karate. Belton's a pretty talented dude. He just needs to get his sea legs, right? Not every rookie just walks in and crushes it. And yes, Nikki and I are going to be on the Bronx Muchachos for all our baseball fans out there. Check out the Bronx Muchachos. Great show. Love David and the group over there. If you're looking for an alternate to the corporate guys and the talking heads, you definitely want to check out David and his crew. They're awesome. What else is in here that we can talk about, guys? Bobby McCain, question mark. Spartan, you got any? Bobby McCain, I know Chris, Nails loves Bobby McCain. Any thought on Bobby McCain coming in and playing safety?
I really honestly I have not assessed that safety situation that much with Bobby McCain.
Yeah, me neither.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you on that one.
Kelly said, Belton did get a little dinged up in the beginning. But towards the end of the year, he was getting reps. I thought he had a decent year. He did get dinged up in the beginning. Then he made some mistakes, and he was in the doghouse for a couple weeks, and everybody ran with it like it was the end of the world. Yes, Astroflave. Of course, Astroflave. We love that. Those guys are going to be coming back with giveaways as soon as camp starts. Let's see what else is in here. Could Bob McCain be the guy Love was? No. I'm glad he could. No, I mean, look, Love led the team in tackles. The guy literally, XMC breaks his hand. Love not only leads the team in tackles, but he takes over calling the plays, and then he's got to play like a hybrid role, a free safety, strong safety. So no, I do not think that McCain will be Love, but I think McCain can play. I think Nikki's husband would probably be able to answer that more, because I think McCain came from Baltimore. Unless I'm getting him confused. I know Ryder Anderson transferred to Indiana. Do you know if McFadden played with him in Indiana? Independent, give me a year. I mean, it's a great question I could ask him, but guess what? He's not here, so I can't answer that. Ryder,
I think they would have missed it. Oh no, they would have played 1 year together.
So McFadden started, he was the captain 2 years, led the team in tackle 3 years. So I guess that would be so
Anderson was a 1 year transfer.
So I guess they played a year together.
Yep.
What else is in here? How are we looking at second guard? Henry wants to know about the guard spot. Are the Giants front office probably looking to see if a veteran is cut during? Yeah. Spartan, I'll let you take that one. I'll pop it up there. Henry wants to know how we're looking at the second guard spot. Basically, either, I don't know if he means starting on the other side or the backup. So give me a little rundown on the guard situation for the Giants.
I have to think of because Thomas left, Evan Neal on the right tackle, right? We're going to put John Michael Schmitz in the at center.
Yep.
And then the guard situation, I presume Galinsky is going to come back, and that's almost a definite, right? I mean, Galinsky's got that pretty much locked down. Now on the right side, we're kind of down to I'm drawing blank on the North Carolina guy. What's that?
Left side.
We're down to two guys, and I don't think I don't know what it's going to come down to be honest with you.
I mean, Bredesen and Azudu are going to battle it out, and then you've got Anderson and Anderson and
the way Bredesen was playing last year, I think I have confidence that he is actually going to go out there and be the starting right guard.
And then Azudu, that's it. Lemieux and Anderson can all back it up.
Lemieux's never impressed me ever. He's never gone out there and given me the confidence that he can go out there and play starting guard effectively. So I don't expect it. Azudu, he's one of those guys that has more potential, right? I think Lemieux's proven it already.
Jay's already hit the pipe because he wants to talk about Ellerson Smith. He's not going to. Him and Cam Brown won't be on the team this year. There's no reason. And then McFadden can change his number a third time and go back to 47. Let's see. Relationship advice from Mason. Funny.
And real quick, Craig, if we're down to it and the 1 week, like if Evan Neal improves and then and John Michael Schmitz plays at least good as a rookie, I'm not really that worried about the offensive line beyond that point anymore. I don't think Galinsky is insufficient to plug in their guard. And I don't think that, even having like a possible rotation for that last spot is necessarily a bad spot to be. And this is where most teams tend to fall in with their offensive line anyway. The fact that we could potentially have two very good offensive tackles is stellar. That's where you want the talent to be, and same with center. And we have that.
Nikki, I'm giving you this one from Michael's. Great question. How do you think Waller impacts Bellinger's role and his production? I'm personally excited for a lot of two tight end sets. I will say this. I'm going to let Nikki handle the first part. Second part, Michael, is you don't see a whole lot of two tight end sets in Buffalo or Kansas City, so I don't know how much that's going to be implemented. I'll be the first one to eat crow if it happens, right? Because us, we interviewed Bellinger last year, the day before he left for camp. We love DGB, but Buffalo and Kansas City aren't big two tight end set teams. Just for the record,
I'll tell you what I expect, Craig. I expect a little bit more red zone two tight end packages. I can see it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
Bellinger did pretty good in the red zone.
Well, they're
Nikki,
essentially
into the
they're just
front,
going to
yeah.
treat Waller like the number one wide receiver, right? I mean, I think we can all agree with that. Like, I think he is. But listen, Bellinger is a great blocking tight end, but Waller, I think like they're good. He's going to be like the de facto, number one wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's going to happen here. So pick him up in fantasy. I'm telling you guys.
There we go. Craig, what do you say we kind of bring it down to the wire?
Yep.
Here?
Yep. All right. So housekeeping. Make sure you're downloading the Chuck Sports app. A lot of fun. Even if you just want to play Chuckle, which is a daily sports game, check it out. Download it. It's a lot of fun. If you want to get into it, me and Danny are always seeing who did better each day. One of these days, Spartan and Nikki will also participate. Twist arm. Twist
it a little more, Craig. Twist my arm a little more.
Yeah, we'd love to see everybody get involved and play Chuckle against each other and see who does the best. There's a new store coming. Yes, I know. I keep talking about it, but I just have to find the time to continue to build it. It's very, of course, my man David at Bronx Muchachos can help me navigate that a little bit. So the store is on its way. We have a new logo for Rush Hour. That'll also be up there, so you'll be able to buy the cool skull and hourglass Rush Hour logo. That's going to be available.
I do cool stuff, baby.
Yeah. Let's see. Eli and Spartan are buds now, and they're
DMing. Right. We had steak dinner together, and it was burnt, and he thought it was very smart of me to get that.
Rush Hour, 8:00 Wednesdays. They're still doing their around the NFL, which is super cool. These shows have been super impactful. Received really well by you, the fans. Remember, Rush Hour is not a Giants show. Okay? It is around the NFL, sports betting, and fantasy football. That's what Nikki's been doing the last 3 years. She just now does it better for us. Right. So tune in there. Spartan's going to be filling in. Because I think Danny
I'll be on Wednesday. Yep.
Yeah, Danny's out.
We're doing the NFC South, everybody. So got some fan favorites coming back. These panels are always lit because we go through our structure and then I get about halfway through and they all just start fighting. And Danny and I are like, all right, let's go. We're gonna get some good clips out of this. And they all just start going at each other. It's really great.
Hell yeah.
All right, so I've got Mr. Micah McFadden here, and he is apologizing, which is, it's all good. It happens. He's a professional athlete. Things happen. I'm going to reschedule with him, but no hard feelings. Things happen. I remember we chased Kevin Boss like this, I think for 3 weeks, the old Giants tight end from that 2007 class. But there was one other thing, and I'm drawing a blank. Spartan, help me. What else did I want to plug? Rush Hour, Wednesday. Something else that got it. Spartan, you're so good. Okay, so we will have a new, very cool Thursday, quote unquote. We want to call it an episode, but we're going to do ramble with Rush, and it will be an Instagram live hosted by Adriana, and each one of the panelists, from the Rush family will be there. So it'll be Nikki and Spartan and Danny and Truth and, Alex and me. Each Thursday we're working out a time, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, working on a time. It's only a 20-minute segment where we get to basically just ramble off topics like we're doing now, but we're going to do it live on Instagram. So stay tuned for Ramble with Rush. That's going to be coming on. It's got a little Led Zeppelin type of background that if, I need to make some artwork for that. Yes, I know. I have all the time.
Well, essentially, we gave like a little preview of that tonight,
yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Feeding your comments, Darius. I'm thinking, I'm working on time, Darius.
Topic one, Leonard Williams is overpaid. The historic argument between me and Craig.
Oh, God.
But I will not be on there with any of them. It's Adriana and
any of them. Spartan, do you hear this? Any of them. I'm demanding new contract rules.
Yeah.
Wait,
we're unionizing.
Any of them, we won't be on. Yes, Henry. I do take care of
any of the Rush. It'll be the Rush team. It'll be two: Adriana and Spartan, Adriana, Nikki, Adriana, Danny, Alex, and so on. Truth, and then of course I will. I'm sure I'll be on there somewhere at some point in time. But it's about them. They make the content. They make you come back each week. You love them. You only put up with me. Thanks for hanging in. Last bit. Either one of you guys have anything you want to sign off with, and then we'll roll.
I just want to let Henry know I do take care of my feet. I get a pedicure every 2 weeks. My feet are
weird, creepy. I don't know why he's asking those questions, but
because
okay.
as a dancer, you really do ruin your feet. So, but mine are fine.
Fair enough. Spartan, you got anything for me?
Not off that particular note, nothing along those lines, but I just want to say thank you all the fans out here, and I appreciate all your guys' time, even when Mike kind of no shows us here. Which understandably it happened. It was an accident.
I do have him here, and he is nonstop apologizing. So we're gonna reschedule him. Hopefully, we can bring him back next week, and we will, or the week after. But we will have him shortly. Listen, these guys, look, they got a lot going on. Good folks.
And I was going to rewatch and realize I said all these mean things about Indiana football, and he's not going to hop on.
Yeah, right.
He's going to kick your ass, is what he's going to do.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't. I'm far away from him.
All right, we are out. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
We'll see you Wednesday.
Rush hour. Be there. It's not a Giant.